Greetings to everyone. I'm Sunita, Research Scholar, Government College for Women, Thiruvananthapuram. My topic for today's presentation is Creative and Commercial Entrepreneurs Traits, a conceptual analysis. Contents for the presentation goes like this. We'll be dealing with what is cultural economy, then objectives and methodology of the paper, a conceptual framework, then a conceptual analysis, and conclusion. Now, what is cultural economy? The concept of cultural economy not only refers to the domain of culture in the strict sense, but it refers also to cultural goods and services as the core of a new, powerful, and vast sector that can be broadly referred to cultural areas. And now the term refers to a very large production that includes goods and services produced by the cultural industries and those depending on innovation. As we all know, over the last years, the importance of the so-called cultural economy and of the culture and creative industries has greatly increased. And now today, cultural and creative industries are driving factors for economic growth and according to the global demand also stimulated by a new economy. From the time in which the term creative economy was popularized in 2001, the so-called cultural and creative industries started generating economic growth at a progressively increasing rate at a global level as stated in the Creative Economic Report, that is 2013 report. Now the objectives and methodology. An explorative conceptual review approach is being used. Study analyzed startups in creative industries regarding three issues along the startup processes. First is personal characteristic of creative entrepreneurs, their use of labor and capital as input factors, and startup success as measured by startup survival, then degree of innovations, and changes in household income. Then a theoretical review of 20 published works has been reviewed to absorb a conceptual understanding of the characteristic traits of creative entrepreneurs, and comparing those with the ordinary commercial entrepreneurs is carried out here. Now coming to conceptual framework, the literature has startups in creative industries has long been dominated by policy reports and popular books. And here a number of studies argue that social values and networks are central to value creation in cultural industries. There is something called cultural value that stands entirely different from economic value that other entrepreneurs focuses on. And these cultural industries find that the interplay of entrepreneurial cognition, entrepreneurial orientation, and sales growth of firms in creative industries is especially momentous in subsectors with intense market competition. Here, a central strand of entrepreneurship literature understands startup activities as a process running from the individual perception and pursuit of business opportunities through strategy and management decisions to outcomes and performances. And some of the authors like Venkatraman and McElvain Leeson argues that this view makes particular sense regarding knowledge intensive entrepreneurship. Here are a series of decisions including planning, replanning, then securing resources such as financing networks and employment issues eventually influences the performance in terms of innovation, then growth or social development. While the scope of knowledge intensive entrepreneurship is entirely or certainly different from that of a creative entrepreneurship, we do want to acknowledge a certain overlap in concepts. However, we must consider that the comprehensive empirical evidences on specifics of startups in creative industries as compared to startups in other economic sectors is still remaining scarce. Coming to the conceptual part, many startups in creative industries fit the four characteristics of knowledge intensive entrepreneurship ventures quite well, and those are new firms, innovative, significant knowledge intensity, and they should exploit innovative opportunities in many sectors. Like Aghoff and Hornstein describe the work of creative entrepreneurs as more of a lifestyle to which personal and private aspects of life are subordinated. The demarcation line between leisure and work is often blurred. Here we add perspectives to these findings by exploring the human capital endowment and traditional socio-demographic characteristic of the entrepreneurs in the first stage of our framework. Then next is regarding the use of capital. Lead, Bater and Oakley, they reckon that many creative entrepreneurs start with little financial resources. They suggest financial resources. They suggest financing difficulties as a possible root cause, as creative startups often rely on microcredit, which could be hard to come by. Specifically, we observe whether the creative startup makes use of material or financial resources, or both. Whether the financial resources are external to some extent, the total financing and external financing volumes, and the sources of all financial resources. Here, moreover, we can investigate the potential financing difficulties of startups in the creative industries also. By reviewing the conceptual works, we come into certain conceptual analysis. And first is that creative entrepreneurs are significantly younger than the non-starters. Moreover, they stand out as particularly young even in the subsample of starters only when compared to starters in other sectors. Next is that entrepreneurs in creative industries usually hold higher educational degrees than the non-starters, and the same holds true for creative entrepreneurs versus entrepreneurs in other economic sectors. This positive relationship between a higher education and tendency to start a creative firm stays significant actually. Because a degree from a technical college or university significantly increases the probability to start a creative firm in both specifications. And however, there is also a large share of creative entrepreneurs without any professional degree. Unemployment there turns out to be a significant push factor for all the business startups. The marginal effect of previous unemployment on the decision to start in creative industries is considerably smaller than the effect in other sectors. Now coming to the financial resources, there are significant difference with respect to financial resources. Creative entrepreneurs use financial resources significantly less often than the entrepreneurs in other economic sectors. Moreover, given the case that entrepreneurs do use financial capital, financing amount in creative industries are significantly smaller. A vast majority of entrepreneurs in creative industries are just as little innovative as the rest of entrepreneurs. Mainly money from family and friends is the most frequent channel through which additional capital needs of creative entrepreneurs are covered, followed by some short-term credit lines and overdraft financing. Then creative entrepreneurs are more likely to be male and younger, and they tend to hold a educational degree conditional on having obtained a degree than the non-entrepreneurial population, and then other entrepreneurs also. Now, because entrepreneurs in creative industries are significantly less affected by financing difficulties than the other entrepreneurs, first reason is that the intellectual property involved in creative startup is difficult to evaluate and to resell, and is therefore hardly suitable for loan scrutinization. Second is like our small credit volumes cause disproportionate administrative expenses, and therefore they make a small project less attractive for external capital providers. Entrepreneurs in creative industries apply less frequently for bank loans, rather they rely on, as I already said, they rely more on family and friends other than these formal money lenders. Conclusion, creative industries have recently attracted increased attention in the public and political debate. However, representative empirical evidences on entrepreneurship in the creative industries is still scarce. Our study focuses on the difference of business startup in creative industries versus non-creative economic sectors. We conclude that this effect is primarily due to lower capital intensity in production, and thus it is demand driven side. Significantly, higher share of entrepreneurs in creative industries start their business with a product innovation. The innovative potential of creative industries is beneficial to the entire economy because the direct innovation effect can create positive spillover to other economic sectors. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to present in this webinar, and thank you.